the case. And what I've said is that this case can never be resolved in a court of law. There's no court of law in Nigeria that can resolve the issue. It is not a matter for the courts. The courts were only brought in to come and create the necessary excuse to keep Nnamdi Kanu perpetually detained by the Nigerian government. No judge has ever prevailed in social movement matters of this scale. It is just like saying that, oh, it was a court of law that ended discrimination in America. No, it was done by people putting their boots on the ground. Of course.
It is now very clear that the case of Nnamdi Kanu will not be determined by any court of law in Nigeria. It will not be determined by any judge. So even if the highest son come out now to say, oh yeah, Nnamdi Kanu, I discharge you and I acquit you. Foul. It is now very clear that it is a political solution. But the sad part of it, that the people who are supposed to be fighting for him politically are playing and toiling around with the case. In fact, some of them are even benefiting from his imprisonment, and so they don't even care. They don't care. Sowore, in case you don't know, Sowore is one of a former presidential aspirant. So he knows what he's saying. Saying that, see, all these people, all these things they are doing, forget them. They are not interested in Nnamdi Kanu's, release. Anyways, let me allow you to watch this video and hear what he said. But our prayer is that Nnamdi Kanu will be released as soon as possible. All right. So you can also drop your comment on the comment section what you think. All right. But for now, let me just allow you to watch this video and hear what he said.
It is not a matter for the courts. The courts were only brought in to come and create the necessary excuse to keep Nnamdi Kanu perpetually detained by the Nigerian government. No judge has ever prevailed in social movement matters of this scale. It is just like saying that, oh, it was a court of law that ended discrimination in America. No, it was done by people putting their boots on the ground. Of course, when they see that people are determined and serious, the court of laws will then act as ancillaries on the side to lend credence and legality to actions of people who are fighting for freedom. That's what nobody wants to accept about the Nnamdi Kanu's case. I was the one who told Aloy Jimako at the car park of the Federal High Court in Abuja. I'm talking about this 2024, when the Supreme Court sent the case back to the Federal High Court. That the Supreme Court had already said that the bill is existing. Why are you applying for another bill? But it wasn't him that was the problem. It's that the Nigerian state knew what was happening and knew that they had no case. I've heard people use my release or removal, my own case ending as an excuse. No, I also said, if you remember from day one in court, I told the judge that there's no case, you're just wasting your time. Sure. I told all the judges that I appeared before in my case, I told them they are wasting their time until it became clear. And let me make a revelation to you today that I have also applied, and Aloy knew this, to see Nnamdi Kanu 3 different times. 2 different times I drove to the DSS, stayed there for several hours. They pretended I said they were going to make it happen. It never happened. When Tinubu came into office, I also reached out to people who I thought were sensible to let them understand that you cannot prevail against the Biafran struggle. The only solution is political. You can go and write this down any day. So let's have this resolved now. And do you know what they told me at that time? The person who I spoke to said, why are you not talking about your case? And you are putting Kanu's case, you are stuck in Nigeria. I said, I don't have a case. That's what I told the person. I said, I do not have a case. But it was from there that I knew that the Southeastern political elites were not interested in Nnamdi's freedom. Because when that conversation that I talked to you about was supposed to kick off, they said, no, don't be in a hurry. We want to do more election first. If you release Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to lose in Imo. The APC will lose. That was the first political consideration that led to the suspension of Nnamdi Kanu's release or conversation about his release. Politics. And it was championed by the Southeastern political elite. And I have spoken about this publicly. And nobody has denied it. In fact, it was after I spoke about it that they went and sat together and had a charade. I don't know in which of the states. All the governors saying they are going to pursue Nnamdi Kanu's release. All the governors. They never did anything about it as a group. Because they are half-hearted interested in his release. And Tinubu is enjoying it. Because the chaos that is happening in the Southeast gives them the opportunity to be doing what they want to do in Nigeria. And I have said it publicly and openly all the time. The Nigerian political elite as a whole love it when there's chaos everywhere. Because the more chaos there is, the less space they have to govern. You imagine now they don't have to construct roads anywhere in the Southeast. Because they'll tell you that IPOB is making it impossible. IPOB is making it impossible to invest in education. The only thing they have to do is just invest money in security. And that's the most opaque way of spending money in Nigeria, security. So just be throwing money. That's the easiest way to steal, is to claim that you are using money to fight some enemy. But they would have cost Nigeria less, both in human and financial resources. if Nnamdi Kanu had been released, not even that Tinubu, but years ago. But that is why I come to the position that he's been held hostage for Nigeria's unity. And that it has to do with the way Nigeria has permanently, consistently, and doggedly suppressed the Igbos since the end of the war in 1970. And it goes back to the reason I told you, as the reason I met Nnamdi Kanu, one of the reasons, apart from several other reasons, that I wasn't one of the people who fought the war. I cannot continue to fight the war. Because I was born in 1971 after the war. I don't want to continue a war started by foolish people. Are you listening to me? And has destroyed an entire generation of presidents. And the unity of Nigeria that they claim they're holding Nnamdi Kanu for, that unity has fallen apart more since they have been holding Nnamdi Kanu. More and more Nigerians no longer believe in Nigeria because of the way Nigeria is handling the case. And they're not going to learn. Trust me. They're not going to learn. Except when it is clear that everybody is united to fight these people. Because at the end of the day, and it's very important, is to understand that there's a central political elite in Nigeria that's holding Nigeria to ransom. And that takes us back to what happened when I met Nnamdi Kanu, which you remember. I told him, brother, let's unite. Yes, I love your struggle in the Southeast, but how about we do it together? Let's have a revolution once and for all. And you'll be surprised that we don't need a Biafran nation anymore, because why do you want Biafra? It's not justice. Is it not economic development, social development? Is it not decentralization, restructuring, and all the things you're talking about? You remember I said that to him. And one of the things he said to me when we were done with that conversation, you remember I said, I'm going to Nigeria. I said, are you mad? Go to Nigeria. You see, these people just killed 28 people in front of my house. They're going to kill you, especially now that you have met with me. And I said, it's fine. If it is death, there's nothing anybody can do to stop it, including the people who want to kill you. They too will die someday. And some of them will even die before you die.
Sure.
Yes. So we don't have control over death, but we have control over our conscience as long as we're alive. And we must work together.
All right. So what do you think? What do you think? Drop your comment on the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel, right? Thank you, and God bless you.